All right, so we're gonna have two more games today. Yesterday we had two amazing football games. We saw Italy beat Belgium in the big blockbuster of the day, but perhaps the arguably the best game of the game yesterday was actually the Switzerland versus Spain game, which was another epic performance by Switzerland against a much better, arguably a much, certainly a much more talented team in Spain. But Spain got it done in the penalty shootout, and they're through to the semifinals where they will face Italy, which will be certainly their biggest challenge so far. That's going to be I can't wait to watch that game, and I'll do a preview for you guys pretty soon here. But today I wanna do a quick preview of the game. Let me share my screen here. We're gonna see Denmark face the Czech Republic. And I fancy Denmark for this one, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's these are two teams that they both have good arguments to get through to the next stage, to get through the semifinals. And they're both lucky in some way because they're facing an opponent that is not too hard. They're not facing an England, a Germany, a France, Belgium, or Italy, Portugal. So I think both of them will look at this game and they'll think, well, we can make it to the semifinals, we can beat our opponents, but obviously only one of the two teams can go through, and I think it will be Denmark. But look, we can't sleep on this Czech Republic. I mean, they've been much better than I think anybody would have anticipated. They had a very strong group stage. They started very strong right away with their terrific win against Scotland, and we saw Schick score two goals, and one of them probably the best goal of the tournament so far, and it will be the best goal of the tournament. Basically scoring from the midfield. I mean, it was this beautiful goal, and Patrick Schick is really he's a big reference for the Czech Republic, certainly their big star, number 10, striker, the man that brings in the goals. And this is not, I mean, let's be honest here, this is not the Czech Republic of 1996 or 2000 or even 2004. It's not a team full of talent. We don't have the Poborskis and the Milan Baros here, and the Rosikis and so on. Obviously, Pavel Nedveds. So it's a different kind of team. It's not a star-studded team like we've seen in past years when they did well. But it's a team that looks good. They've looked good against their opponents so far. Against England, perhaps a little bit less so. They look fantastic against Scotland. They were able to get a draw against Croatia, which is a tough team, but perhaps certainly their biggest game so far. I mean, it was against the Netherlands, and everybody was betting on the Netherlands to get through in that game, to get through to the quarterfinals. But the Czech Republic really surprised the Dutch. But then again, you have to factor in that red card for De Ligt that really changed the dynamics of the game, and I think that was really the decisive element in that game, and that's why the Czech Republic was able to beat Holland. Now we'll see what they do against Denmark, but it's another opportunity for them to. They're always going to be the underdogs till the end of the tournament. So I think, but I think here they're not huge underdogs. I think they have a good chance against Denmark. And then we'll look at Denmark, and I think everybody's cheering for Denmark in a way, because this is Christian Eriksen's tournament, right? I mean, right in the first game, it was a terrible start for Denmark. I mean, in every sense, Christian Eriksen almost died on the field. Very serious condition. Essentially, he had a heart attack. They lost the game against Finland, which was the obviously the least harmful of the two things, but still, from a footballing perspective, they lost the first two games. It seemed like it was over for them, and but they bounced back. They rebounded, winning. They scored 4 goals against against Russia, getting through to the round of last 16, and they were able also to get through, beating Wales again, very in a very decisive fashion again. And so they get through to this round of to these quarterfinals, and I think they look very good, and they look like the favorites certainly. And I think most people are expecting to see this Denmark team face England in the semifinals. And some of the key players, obviously Schmeichel, a staple for Leicester City, you know, one of the key players when Leicester City won the Premier League, one of their key players now this year when they almost reached the top four finish. I mean, son of the legendary Peter Schmeichel. Then we have Kjaer, who's the leader of their defense. He's having a tremendous Euro Cup so far. Very good player. Have Delaney and Højbjerg, which who make up a very strong center midfield actually. And then up front, they actually have some talent, even without Christian Eriksen, who was certainly their big star, and even without Poulsen. I wonder if he's still injured. He's on the bench. That might be a choice because obviously the big story here, Dolberg scored 2 goals, and he was the man of the match against Wales. And I like Kasper Dolberg a lot. I thought that he was one of the great talents, you know, coming out of Ajax. You know, he looked fantastic, and then he just didn't develop into a top class player like it seemed like he would develop a couple years back or 3 years back. And but I think he's still a very young guy, and he looked absolutely fit. Maybe he just needs some opportunities, and he looked very good against Wales. And I think Denmark will be hoping for him to provide the goals. And then you have Damsgaard, who Michael Damsgaard, who's also not a guy that Denmark was expecting to play a huge role, you know, in the Euro Cups. You know, Dolberg is essentially coming in for Poulsen, and Damsgaard is essentially coming in for Christian Eriksen, and those are supposed to be Denmark's big stars in the tournament. You know, Christian Eriksen and Poulsen, perhaps their most recognizable players in some ways. And but both Dolberg and Damsberg and Damsgaard, they've looked very impressive coming in for those bigger name players, and I think they have a lot of talent. I think that they have certainly a lot more talent. The Czech Republic, I'm sorry, you know, if that offends anybody, but Dolberg and Damsgaard, I think I'm excited to see them play today. And also Braithwaite, obviously, you know, he plays for Barcelona, a class player. So I think Denmark should have enough, I believe, to see this through.